What's going on, everybody? Bobby O'Brien here. Today I'm going over the top 5 best exercises for losing weight consistently and boosting your metabolic rate through weight training, of course. And each one of these exercises are going to be weight training oriented. And I'm going to go over the compound lifts as well as the isolated lifts in this video. So stick around to the end because I got some really good exercises that you may not have seen before. Some you have, and definitely some you may not have. So leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at It's Bobby O'Brien and message me if you want me to fully customize a workout program that definitely has more than just 5 exercises. So we'll go ahead and just get right into the video. But before I do, I want to pre-frame this and say that if you are somebody that wants to target a specific area of their body and just see the body fat around that area just disappear, that's not going to happen. I hear all the time from many men that they want to lose their gut and their first step is to just work their core, right? But that's not necessarily going to work. I understand that you guys want to see that go away, but the ultimate way to actually get that to completely disappear is to optimize your diet and boost your metabolic rate by just targeting every muscle group inside of your body, not just that specific area, because you're not going to get that transferred effect. If you work on your abdomen, you work on your core, you're not going to get that transferred effect where you see the body fat around that area disappear. So I just wanted to pre-frame that, right? If you have neck fat, you got arm fat, you got leg fat, these exercises aren't going to give you that transferred effect. Now, I also want to pre-frame this and say that these exercises I think are the best for boosting your metabolic rate by targeting each and every muscle group, right? So the 5 muscle groups I'm going to go over are legs, chest and shoulders, back, biceps, and triceps. I put chest and shoulders together because most people do push days, and I didn't want to give you too much information to where it was difficult for you to absorb. And of course, if you are training back, you are training legs, you certainly want to include more than just one of these exercises. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and just get right into it here. So if I can get this to move, there we go. So first one is going to be the barbell squat, right, for legs. This is by far the best exercise, I think, of all time. Just because if you do it right, you dial in your form, you make sure that you're squatting with correct posture, you got your toes pointing in the right direction, your stance is on point, and you make sure that your feet are fully connected whenever you're pushing off, you're going to be able to not only just get a really good leg workout, but really almost get like a full body effect. Because if any of you have had a really tough leg day, you do some lunges, do some squats, or whatever it may be, the reason why you do those quad-dominated movements, you feel so fatigued, is because it's the biggest muscle group in your body. So it has the highest oxygen demand. And that's why you do 2 to 3 sets of barbell squat. You really fatigue those muscles that really increase the demand for that oxygen way more so than your biceps and your triceps, and you feel like you're about to faint, like you just ran for an hour straight or you just ran a sprint, right? And that could take up to 5 minutes at most, if not less, and that could take hours on the treadmill. Once again, why you certainly don't need to be prioritizing cardio. 1, because you're not going to boost your metabolic rate, and 2, you're going to save more time with your busy schedule, right? So barbell squat, quad-dominated movement. You certainly target your glutes as well. That'd probably be the second muscle group that you would primarily target besides the quads. Of course, you contract the hamstrings and the calves as well, but just not as much, right? But you could even argue that this is a full body movement because you're even contracting your traps to squeeze the bar down your back. So back, literally any chest-supported row, right? You could do it like the way this guy's doing it. You can do it from an up to down or down to up type movement, like a T-bar row. And what's nice about this is you could pretty much sit on this machine and work with each and every grip for about 4 sets of 10 or do some progressive overload and target literally every single layer of your back, right? So you got your upper, middle, and lower trapezius, you got your lats, and all the other local muscle groups that surround your upper back. So with an overhand grip, target more upper back. Keeping it simple here. I could certainly go down the anatomical rabbit hole, but I don't want to bore you. You want to see the benefits, right? So if you want to work on your upper back, go with the overhand grip. If you want to work more middle back and really target your lats by getting your elbows closer to your body, go with a neutral grip. Now, if you really want to contract your lats and still work the middle of your back as well, underhand grip is also going to be very, very powerful. So if you include all 3 of those grips, you do a chest-supported row like this where you keep your chest glued to the pad the entire time while you're rowing and you pretty much eliminate any possibility of cheating. you're going to be able to get a far better back workout in comparison to doing a bent over row or any sort of, free row where, in other words, you're rowing without any sort of support. You're just rowing with dumbbells, you're rowing with a barbell, whatever it may be. So if you have a chest supported row machine at your gym, please use it. Every single time I go to do back, I'm on the chest supported row machine or any other chest supported row like a T-bar row or any sort of up to down chest supported row, almost like a pull down, right, that I can find at any other gym, because I know that I'm going to completely eliminate the possibility of me cheating and really dial in my form and target the middle of my back, upper back, as well as the lats. So chest and shoulders. The reason why I chose incline dumbbell bench press for this is because we're working with chest adduction here. Now, if I were to make this for just the chest, I'd probably put in some cable crossovers, which is where you can actually cross your hands over each other, right? And I'll even get some of my clients to switch their hands with every other rep so that you can target different layers of the chest. So that way you can really shorten the muscles in the chest and really get it to grow. And the reason why I like this more than the barbell bench press is because you have so much more freedom of movement in each hand, right? So the best analogy I like to use with this is if you're pressing with a barbell, for example, and you start to get stuck and it comes down on you, I don't necessarily have the flexibility to fail as well, if that makes sense, in comparison with dumbbells, because I can kind of turn them in or drop them on the floor. With a barbell, we're moving just one piece of equipment. So if things start to go bad and it starts to turn more towards the head, or shoulder starts moving in directions we don't want it to move, you're moving one piece of equipment that's 10 times heavier than two dumbbells that are each like even 70 pounds like this guy, and you're going to be in trouble. Plus, on top of that too, safety aside, you're not necessarily getting that chest adduction, right? You're not getting near as much of that because your hands are just in one place. You're not moving it towards the center like you would be with incline. There's a lot of stimulus that's being put onto the front delt and upper chest with an incline dumbbell bench press, and those are areas of the chest that are really difficult to target, the upper chest. And for a lot of you guys that want to grow your chest, it's probably one of the best ways to do it is to target that upper chest area to really get that shelf-like effect whenever you're looking at the side or looking in the mirror, wherever it may be, that lateral view. So, biceps. This may be a little bit of a surprise to some of you, but I definitely think doing back-supported curls is literally way better than any other bicep exercise, right? Because very similar to the back, where we're doing chest-supported rows, there's literally no ability for this guy in this picture to cheat here. Because even if he were to arch his back, right, and thrust his hips forward, his back, or as long as he keeps his head and his upper back intact with the wall, it's going to be really difficult to actually cheat and get that arm to swing, right? So if he's focusing on keeping his elbows glued into the wall the entire time, as well as his upper back and his head, and even if he pushes his hips forward, arms are still stuck in the same place. Now, it kind of comes back to the same point that I was mentioning with the back, right? With that chest-supported row. If you're gluing a part of your body to any sort of surface like a wall or a pad or whatever it may be, and you're keeping your body intact and you're just moving that joint, like your elbow joint in this example, you're certainly going to isolate the muscle group or isolate that muscle to its greatest extent. And that's exactly what you do here with a back-supported curl. Now imagine if you taped, no one's going to do this of course, but if you taped your elbows to the wall, right? It's the same theme. You're giving yourself literally no chance to cheat. Your elbow has no ability to move. It's just supported up against the wall and you could just curl, right? Because if you were to just do a free weight barbell curl, you can just swing it up, move your elbows all around. There's no support behind you and you can just fling it in the air and definitely use more than one muscle group and most likely use your lower back and possibly even throw it out. So last one here, probably the most isolated exercise we're going to go over today, but it is a straight bar overhead cable tricep extension. Now, there's certain tricep exercises that will target literally every head of the tricep, and I'm not going to go too far down this anatomical rabbit hole because I know you guys are just focused on seeing results, but in order to see the best in the way of results, we have to target each and every muscular layer inside of each muscle group if we want to get the best metabolic reaction and see the most in the way of benefits from our training, right? So with the triceps, there's 3 heads. You don't have to memorize them, but there's a short head, long head, and medial head, right? So short head is just going to be on the outside. Long head is going to be on the inside. And the medial head is real easy. It just kind of sits right in the middle, right in between the two short heads, right? Or short head and long head. Now, with this particular movement, whenever you're doing an overhead straight bar tricep extension, you are predominantly targeting the long head, the inside of the tricep, and the medial head of the tricep. So any sort of overhead extension is really going to work that inside layer, and any sort of overhand grip extension is really going to work the medial layer, right? So if you do an overhand style push down with a straight bar, you're really going to work the medial head as well, right? And that's why I certainly advise with triceps and literally any other muscle group as well that you complement your exercises accordingly, and you don't do like 3 long head exercises, right? So if let's make it really simple, right? Because triceps can get nuanced. If I'm doing chest and shoulders, I'm not going to just do all these front delt movements right after doing incline barbell bench press, any sort of forward pressing or downward pressing or any other chest oriented movement, right? You could even argue that you don't need to train your front delt at all if you do more than one chest exercise, because you're targeting that front delt so much. So we want to carry that same ideology over to the triceps and literally every other muscle group as well. If we are doing an overhead extension, we're really targeting the medial head and the long head, especially the long head. So if we're going to do our second tricep exercise, we want to target one of those other heads. So we're probably not going to do any more overhead movements after that if we do 4 or 5 sets of 10 or however many reps or sets with this movement. We're going to move on and probably do a push down or some other form of pushing that would target the triceps, right? So with this movement, great way to target the medial head and the long head, right? Because we're going with that overhand grip and we're pushing above us. And it's really nice to do with cables because you can really manipulate the plane of motion. It's very, very simple. And it's way better than doing it with a dumbbell because you have the flexibility to move your hands around. You can readjust your stance. You can readjust your elbows. You really don't have that flexibility with a dumbbell. Now, I'm not completely knocking that movement, that overhead dumbbell tricep extension, seated or standing. I think it's great, but you just have far more flexibility with a standing straight bar overhead tricep extension on the cable machine, just because you have that freedom to adjust the weight, adjust the plane of motion in which you're moving as well, which is probably the biggest reason why I think it's so great. So once again, if you want me to fully customize a plan that is made just for you, that has way more than just 5 exercises, right? These are the best, but you definitely need to include a little bit more in the way of isolated movements that are going to target those different muscle groups, right? If you're targeting back and you just do a chest supported row with an overhand grip, we still got to target the middle of the back. We still got to isolate the lats a little bit and kind of clean up the rest of the back too, and maybe target some of those local muscle groups. The reason I'm a bit tedious about that whenever I customize my programs for my clients and I don't just give them general cookie cutter workouts that are found on Pinterest is because I want to make sure they get the best metabolic reaction possible with each and every workout. So that way it's really, really easy to eat a whole lot in the way of food as well and still get away with it because their metabolic rate is going to be so high from those isolated exercises. This is meant to complement your diet. It's not meant to replace it. But with that being said, it can still be very powerful, especially if you implement it into your busy schedule, which you certainly can. And you can certainly get 6, if even 7 exercises in 30 to 45 minutes, still make it fun and find ways to target each and every muscle group so you see the most in the way of weight loss benefits. So if you want to start seeing benefits and results like my clients right now, click the link in the video description to speak with me directly, and we can get started and start fully customizing a plan that is made just for you. So I will see y'all in the next video.